It's midnight and you're tuned into Nightline with me, Muhammed, Ahmad, Hamdan. The top stories. Mining sector corruption, Menteri Besar Ing CEO among two remanded. And Agong urges Malaysians to steer clear of envy and slander. Good morning. Menteri Besar Ing MBI's Chief Executive Officer has been remanded together with a female company director in connection with a mining sector corruption and abuse of power probe. The two were detained by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC and remanded for 3 days over the case, which allegedly involves bribes exceeding 13 million ringgit. According to sources, the suspects, who are 63 and 40 years old respectively, were arrested late Tuesday afternoon in Alustar and Kuala Lumpur. The source said mining activities carried out illegally by the company involved have received protection from certain authorities since 2020. In this regard, the results of the investigation were able to detect that several payments amounting to more than 13 million ringgit were given as bribes to protect these illegal mining activities from 2020 to this year. The source added that the company owned by the women is believed to have received approval to carry out the development of cloned rubber tree plantations in 2016. The project aims to replant cloned rubber trees in the logging areas involved. The source also said that the same company submitted an application to a state government in 2020 to conduct rare earth element mining activities in the same compartment. However, it is learned that no approval has been given by the state government regarding the company's application to carry out the mining activities. MACC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azambaki confirmed the arrests and said the case was being investigated under Section 17 and 23 of the MACC Act. In a related development, Datuk Sri Muhammad Sanusi Matnor said he has not been contacted by MACC officials in relation to an investigation into the theft of rare earth elements in the state. The caretaker Kedah Menteri Besar said he found out about the investigation into the matter through statements made in the media. On Tuesday, it was reported that the MACC was investigating a Menteri Besar for alleged misappropriation and abuse of power in the mining of rare earth elements. Meanwhile, Datuk Sri Sanusi has denied that the police were unable to reach him or his aides before his arrest on Tuesday morning. Instead, he claimed that he was in contact via text message with the police and had informed an officer that he did not want to be arrested.
Dia kata nak ambil keterangan. Dia duduk tahan macam tu je. Saya kata kalau nak tangkap abang betul-betul sebab saya boleh-bolehnya saya tak mau ditangkap.
On Tuesday, Tan Sri Razaruddin Hussein said Datuk Sri Sanusi was arrested at a hotel in Kuala Lumpur at 3 a.m. The IGP said this was after the caretaker Kedah Menteri Besar and his aides had ignored calls made by police. Datuk Sri Sanusi was then taken in an SUV to the Gombak District Police Headquarters for investigation under the Sedition Act. He arrived at the Selayang Sessions Court at 8:57 a.m. to face charges for allegedly touching on the 3R issues during a political talk last week. Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah on Wednesday advised the people to avoid harbouring envy or committing slander. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong said the people should not be narrow-minded or have a negative mindset, as such attitude and behaviour would not benefit the race and country.
Mengambil ibrah daripada peristiwa hijrah ini, beta ingin mengajak seluruh rakyat untuk bersatu hati dalam membentuk sebuah masyarakat yang lembut dalam membicara, halus dalam berpesan, harmoni dalam ikatan persaudaraan, jujur dalam pekerjaan, amanah dalam menggalas tugas, dan gagah perkasa dalam mencipta kejayaan.
Al-Sultan Abdullah said this at the National Level 2023 Ma'al Hijrah celebration at the World Trade Center, Kuala Lumpur. In conjunction with the Ma'al Hijrah celebration, the Yang di-Pertuan Agong also called on the people to be grateful for the peace and prosperity they are enjoying in the country.
suburkan rasa kasih dan kecintaan kita kepada tanah air bumi Malaysia ini sebagaimana cintanya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam kepada tanah kelahiran baginda.
Also present at the celebration were Raja Permaisuri Agong Tunku Azizah Aminah Maimunah Iskandaria, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim and his wife Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail, Deputy Prime Ministers Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi and Datuk Seri Fadilah Yusof, and Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Religious Affairs Datuk Muhammad Naim Mokhtar were also in attendance. Meanwhile, former Institute of Islamic Understanding Malaysia, IKIM Director General, Professor Dr. Abdul Monir Yaakob, was announced as this year's national level Tokoh Ma'al Hijrah. The 77-year-old who hails from Mengkarak in Bera Pahang was given the award in recognition of his contributions to the Malaysian Muslim community. Among others, he is noted for being a commissioner of the Human Rights Commission of Malaysia or Suhakam and was also responsible for informing the then Yang di-Pertuan Agong Tuanku Syed Sirajuddin Syed Putra Jamalulail that Muslim prisoners were having difficulty praying at the time because they were given short pants as their attire. Meanwhile, the International Tokoh Ma'al Hijrah Award was given to Grand Mufti of India, Al-Allama Shaykh Abu Bakar Ahmad, for being an influential religious figure for the Sunni Muslim community in India and abroad. The 92-year-old Shaykh Abu Bakar is the General Secretary of the All India Muslim Scholars Association, one of the country's largest organizations of Islamic scholars. Meanwhile, Sultan of Perak, Sultan Nazrin Shah, urged Muslims to be prepared, even obligated, to undergo a migration of the mind and culture. His Royal Highness said this migration will enable them to understand and interpret contemporary issues from various dimensions and empower them to tackle and master current situations, especially in the face of the rapid technological revolution.
Penghijrahan minda memerlukan minda yang berani menerokai pengetahuan baru, kemahiran baru, medium baru dan kaedah baru. Dirintis selari dengan keperluan zaman. Penghijrahan minda memerlukan minda yang dahagakan kemajuan, minda bijaksana, minda yang rasional, minda berdeka yang tidak berjiwa hamba.
Sultan Nazrin said this in his address in conjunction with the state-level Islamic New Year celebration in Ipoh, Perak. Also present were Raja Permaisuri Perak, Tuanku Zara Salim, Raja Muda of Perak, Raja Jaafar, Raja Muda Musa, Raja di Hilir Perak, Raja Iskandar Zulkarnain Sultan Idris Shah, and Raja Puan Muda of Perak, Tunku Soraya Abdul Halim Muazzam Shah. Sultan Nazrin highlighted that cultural migration, on the other hand, entails a willingness to abandon obsolete and decaying cultures. It involves embracing a more dynamic culture that reflects noble character, discipline, dignity, honesty, sincerity, and adheres to Islamic principles and values. In Al-Ustar, Sultan of Kedah, Al-Aminul Karim Sultan Salihuddin Sultan Badlisha wanted the Muslim community not to raise issues which could threaten the unity of the Ummah to avoid divisions among them. The Sultan objected to the actions of a few irresponsible groups who use mosques as a platform for delivering political speeches and causing turmoil.
Kita mengharapkan agar umat Islam di negeri Kedah ini juga sentiasa hidup dalam bersatu padu dan menjaga keharmonian bersama. Antara salah satu sebab yang menjadi puncak perpecahan ialah ketidakmampuan dalam mengawal hawa nafsu serta tidak matang dalam memberikan tindakan balas terhadap perbezaan pendapat, sehingga mudah melenting dan bergaduh bersama sendiri.
Sultan Salihuddin said this at the Kedah state-level Ma'al Hijrah celebration. He also said that Muslims can overcome any seeds of discord by returning to the basic teaching, which is adhering to the Quran. Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim wishes Malaysia to be protected from divisive racial elements. The Prime Minister said peace and stability must be the main goals to ensure the people's welfare is protected. In his message on Facebook and Twitter, in conjunction with the Ma'al Hijrah 1445 celebration, Datuk Seri Anwar said any attempt to transform this constitutional and sovereign country into a chaotic and racist nation will not be tolerated even an inch. Therefore, in welcoming Hijrah 1445, the Prime Minister urged for the Rakyat to be committed to making their migration one that is real and true. He said this includes migrating from evil to good, being corrupt to trustworthy, from bigotry to having a free mind, and from narrow-minded racism to Tayyush Silmi, or living in harmony. Recalling the history of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, migration in establishing the city of Madinah, Datuk Seri Anwar said the Prophet had laid the foundation of Islamic governance with teachings and understanding on morals, values and principles. From those spiritual values taught, emerged a national policy that reflected mercy and justice for all. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim's two-day official visit to Vietnam on Thursday has been described as a very significant one for Malaysia and Vietnam, as this year marks the 50th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic ties between the two neighbouring countries. It will also be Datuk Seri Anwar's first official visit to Vietnam since becoming the Prime Minister last November. Speaking to Malaysian journalists at a media conference in Hanoi in conjunction with the visit, Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Zamri Abdul Kadir said the visit was also at the invitation of Vietnam's Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh to Datuk Seri Anwar when the two leaders attended the 42nd ASEAN Summit in Labuan Bajo, Indonesia in May. He said the visit is also a recognition of the cooperation and cordial ties between Malaysia and Vietnam over the last 5 decades. Datuk Seri Anwar will also hold several important meetings with some of Vietnam's top leaders, including President Vo Van Thuong, the Vietnamese Prime Minister, Communist Party of Vietnam Secretary General Nguyen Phu Trong, and Chairman of the National Assembly Vong Dinh Hue.
Jadi ini adalah pertemuan-pertemuan penting dalam struktur pemerintahan di Vietnam ini. Ini adalah kalangan-kalangan yang sangat berpengaruh di sini.
Datuk Seri Zamri added that in conjunction with the visit, the Prime Minister is also expected to witness the signing of the Memorandum of Cooperation between the National Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Malaysia and the Vietnam Chamber of Commerce and Industry. The memorandum is expected to further strengthen bilateral ties between Malaysia and Vietnam and boost the socio-economic development of the two countries for the benefit of the people. In addition, Datuk Seri Anwar and his counterparts will also witness the signing ceremony of the confirmation of the minutes of the 7th Joint Commission meeting on Economic, Scientific and Technology Cooperation, JCM7, between Malaysia and Vietnam, jointly chaired by Datuk Seri Zamri and Vietnamese Foreign Minister Bui Thanh Son. Vietnam is Malaysia's 12th largest trading partner in the world and the 10th biggest export destination in 2022, while Malaysia is Vietnam's 9th largest trading partner. Malaysia and Vietnam recorded a trade value of $19.33 billion last year. The Attorney General's Chamber's AGC has denied the allegations of selective prosecution, politically motivated charges and persecution against any individual who commits an offence. Attorney General Tan Sri Idrus Harus said the decisions to charge any person is based on evidence, facts, and not due to pressure from certain parties or other factors. In a statement on Wednesday, he stressed that the decisions were also made in line with the care of integrity to ensure the victims, witnesses, accused, and the public obtain appropriate justice in accordance with the jurisdiction of the Attorney General as provided under the Federal Constitution. Therefore, the AGC denied the allegations of selective prosecution, politically motivated charges and persecution against any individual who violates any provision of the law. Tan Sri Idrus added that if there is a statement and strong evidence that any individual has committed an offence under any provision of the law, the individual involved will be prosecuted based on the provision of the law, regardless of their status and background. When we come back, Thai reformist leader suspended from parliament. Stay with us. Welcome back. The leader of Thailand's election-winning Move Forward party, Pita Limjaroenrat, met fresh obstacles in his prime ministerial bid on Wednesday as a court suspended him as a lawmaker and rivals successfully scuttled his renomination in parliament. After more than 7 hours of debate on a challenge to Pita's candidacy before a planned parliamentary vote on Wednesday, lawmakers voided his nomination, with opponents arguing a motion for him to be endorsed as Premier had already been rejected when he was defeated in last week's vote. As the debate ensued, the Constitutional Court separately announced that Pita had been suspended as a lawmaker over an allegation he violated election rules by holding shares in a media firm. The suspension, however, does not bar Pita from running for Premier, but it was not immediately clear whether his 8-party alliance would seek to renominate him by filing a different motion. Senior officials from Move Forward and alliance partner Pheu Thai said they would arrange a meeting to decide their next move. In Singapore, 2 leading members of the opposition Workers' Party WP have resigned on Wednesday over an extramarital affair, adding to a highly unusual spate of intrigue and turmoil in the country's usually staid politics. Leon Pereira, 53, of the party's 9 MPs in the 93-seat legislature, as well as the youth wing chair Nicole Sia, 36, tendered their resignation after a video emerged online showing the duo behaving in an intimate manner. WP party leader Pritam Singh said both members had admitted to have had an affair that started after the 2020 general elections but had stopped some time ago. He added that if the politicians had not willingly resigned, he would have proposed their dismissal to the Central Executive Committee due to their dishonesty when initially questioned about allegations of the affair. The ruling People's Action Party, PAP, on Monday announced the shock resignations of Speaker of Parliament Tan Chuan Jin and Tampines GRC MP Cheng Li Hui over an affair that Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong became aware of in 2020. In Colombia, at least 15 people were killed and 13 remain missing in the aftermath of landslides caused by heavy rains. It was reported that several homes were destroyed and a major trade artery blocked after the landslide struck in the rural municipality of Quetaname late Monday. Authorities said 15 bodies have been found so far, while 6 more people were transferred to healthcare centres for injuries. In the meantime, rescue teams from the civil defence, the Red Cross, firefighters and members of the military continue to search for the missing among the mud and rubble. President Gustavo Petro had offered his condolences to victims' families and said the disaster demonstrated the need to bolster infrastructure around at-risk areas. Li Zijia shown the exit again. Actions from Seoul after this breather. Badminton, the 2023 Korea Open, national men's singles ace Li Zijia suffered another first-round heartbreak in the World Badminton Circuit. The 2021 All-England champion went down 15-21, 21-18, 17-21 to Angus Eun Kah-long of Hong Kong at the Jinnam Stadium in Yeosu. The world number 17, who was competing for the first time in a tournament with the guidance of new coach Wong Tat-meng, could not raise his performance in the third game against the tenacious world number 14. This was Zijia's fifth consecutive early exit in the individual tournaments. Kah-long will next face another Malaysian, Ng Ziyong, who thrashed Mithun Manjunath of India in their opening tie. Ziyong easily swept aside Manjunath in his opening round match, recording a 21-11, 21-4 victory. The 23-year-old needed just 28 minutes to defeat the world number 56 to book a spot in the second round. In the men's doubles category, Goh Zifei, Nur Izzuddin maintained their perfect record since being reunited as they overcame a tough opening match. Fresh from winning the US Open men's double silverware, Goh and Izzuddin battled jet lag to recover from a game down and oust Chinese pair Ren Xiangyu, Tan Qiang 10-21, 21-16, 21-16. The pair will be up against fellow countrymen Ong Yu-sin, Teo Yi in the next round. And on to tennis now. The 2023 Swedish Open. Fifth seed Alexander Zverev had to dig deep to escape a tough challenge over Slovakia's Alex Molchan to advance to the second round. The German outlasted Molchan 6-4, 3-6, 7-5 in a nearly 2.5-hour first-round match. The 19-time tour-level titleist Zverev failed to serve out the match at 5-3 in Boston, but notched a decisive break in the 12th game to wrap his victory. Zverev will take on Brazilian Thiago Monteiro next, as he chases his first ATP Tour crown since returning to action at the start of the year after a long-term ankle injury. Joining him was Stanislas Wawrinka. The Swiss advanced to the next round after 6th seed Roberto Carballes Baena of Spain retired in their first round match. Wawrinka was leading 6-1, 3-1 before the Spaniard withdrew with an injury. He will play Spaniard Jaume Munar next for a spot in the quarterfinals. Also through the next round was Leo Borg. Borg, the son of 11-time Grand Slam champion Bjorn Borg, won a main draw match on the ATP Tour for the first time after defeating Swedish compatriot Elias Ymer. The 20-year-old beamed broadly after sealing the win with an ace on the first of 3 match points to record a 7-6, 6-3 victory over Ymer. Borg will play Argentina's Federico Correa in the last 16th stage of the tournament. Coming up after the break, Tafi school raided for storing 100 kilograms of ketum leaves. Don't go away. Nightline continues. The Sarawak government has plans to develop the plot of land to be returned to the state by the federal government. Sarawak Premier Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunoping said the development plan would be implemented by relevant state agencies in the respective divisions.
Katakan tanah untuk sekolah. Sekolah tidak dibangunkan. Disebabkan oleh jarak sekolah itu sudah dekat, ada jalan raya. Mereka tidak membangunkan sekolah. Maka kita ambil tanah itu. Dan memang kita ada projek pembangunan di bawah bahagian masing-masing. Dan mungkin tanah itu dalam lingkungan pembangunan di peringkat.
Tan Sri Abang Johari said this after attending the state-level Ma'al Hijrah celebrations at the Sarawak Islamic Complex in Kuching on Wednesday. He added that the Sarawak government will also repay the amount of compensation that was paid when it took over the land, adding that Sarawak had wanted a total of 219 plots of land to be returned. Discussions are still ongoing to obtain the remaining compensation for the lots of land that have not yet been developed by the federal government. Kelantan police arrested 4 men and seized yaba pills and ketum from 2 different locations, including a tahfiz centre at Batu 11 Ketere, suspected of storing 100 kilograms of ketum. State Police Chief Datuk Muhammad Zaki Harun said the tahfiz centre was the second location they raided on the same day, which resulted in the discovery of 10 packets of black plastic packets believed to contain ketum leaves. In a statement, Dr. Zaki said the raid on the tahfiz centre was carried out after the 4 suspects in their 20s were nabbed in the first raid in a house in Jalan Tali Air Kampung But, Ketere, at about 9 p.m. on the same day. In the first raid, police seized 20 plastic packets filled with about 20 litres of ketum liquid, 4 plastic packets containing green leaves believed to be ketum and weighing an estimated 40 kilograms. Upon further investigation, police also found and seized a cigarette packet containing suspected yaba pills, a large pot containing about 10 litres of boiled ketum water, 2 gas cylinders and a gas stove, with the total seizure estimated at 4,522 ringgit. One of the suspects tested positive for methamphetamine, while another had drug-related records. The 4 suspects have been remanded for 4 days until July 22nd, and the case is being investigated under the Dangerous Drugs Act and the Poisons Act. And that concludes Nightline this time around. As we wrap up, let's take a look as a group of women specialists keen on preserving Palestinian, Arab and Muslim heritage began a campaign to digitize old books, with some dating back 3 centuries, as a way to protect them from getting damaged or lost. You have been with me, Muhammed and Hamdan, for the past half an hour. Thank you for watching and take care.